YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with another NFL TierMaker video. Just yesterday, I ranked the defensive linemen. I seen a comment to do the defensive backs next, and I was feeling it. You know, my favorite position group in football. So we'll do corners today, and we'll do safeties tomorrow. I'm really excited to do these. And then we did quite a few of these TierMaker videos for the NFL about a month back. So there's a playlist. You guys can check out all of them in there. And then we have a lot of corners here. And then some I'm noticing that should be on here that are not, so we'll talk about those guys at the end. I did not create this actual list, but I am putting them in tiers right here live with you guys. But we got tiers elite through below average. Right before we get started with this, though, 40K is our subscriber goal by the end of the year, so if you don't subscribe to the channel, it'd be much appreciated if you can do so. We do have daily sports videos, NFL, NBA. Clicking that like button also much appreciated, and checking out our Twitter, as you can see at the top right, and there's always a link in the description. But let's start putting these cornerbacks into some groups. I have a pretty interesting take on the cornerback group. I guess we'll see what it is at the end. So starting us off here is Adoree Jackson of the Tennessee Titans, and a very tough one to start. Interesting thing about Adoree Jackson, I wasn't super high on him as a prospect, but he's really starting to grow on me. You know, he's getting better and better. And it's a tough one because he is getting better, and this is kind of based on the upcoming season where he can play. And he easily can play in the very good section. It's just hard for me to put him there just, right now, I guess. I'm going to put him under good, which obviously, even if a corner you like here is down in the average section, I mean, that's still solid. Obviously below average is not so solid, but next up is Jair Alexander, who a guy I did like as a prospect a lot, and I did like in his rookie year. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I think he can also play at a very good level, but it's hard to put him there right now. I want to put him in the good. I do like his game, though. Packers got a good cornerback duo for the future, maybe the best of the future. Can't wait to see how that develops. And that is A.J. Bouye. A.J. Bouye is going to be, I'm going to put him under very good. Very solid corner. I know Jalen Ramsey deals with the number ones, but you really can't. People look into that too much. Yeah, you got to respect. I guess you got to give bonus points to the guys if they lock down a number one, but then people start to bash guys because they're guarding the number 2 or 3 or whatever. That's just ridiculous. He's doing his job. He's a very good cornerback. That's where I got him. Bryce Callahan had a very solid season for the Bears last year. Now moving on to the Broncos. Interesting one because that was really his only good season, I'd say. I mean, he's had other solid seasons, but that was his only season and it was very good. Nickel corner is a lot harder than people think to play. I played corner, and to me it was easier covering downfield even against speedy guys or big guys than it was covering quick slants. So nickel corner is a very hard position to play. It's tough because we just had one really good year from him. I'd say he played at definitely above good last year, but that's where I'm going to put him. It's just kind of like these guys. I kind of want to see more. Young guys. I haven't really seen a whole bunch. I kind of want to see more, but I think they have the capabilities of playing a little higher. But, I mean, very good. There shouldn't be really a lot of guys through this elite through very good because it's a very hard position to play, maybe the second hardest after quarterback, so it's tough to put guys up here. And then Garyon Conley. I haven't seen a whole bunch from him. He's been starting to get a little better. I just put him at, that's tough. I put him under average for now, but he can play a little better than that this year. Ronald Darby. Some of these are tough. Ronald Darby, I'm kind of back and forth on. He's had his injuries. He is really solid when he's on the field. I'm going to put him under good. He's got to stay healthy. I almost put him under average just because we don't really see him on the field a whole bunch, but he's pretty talented. Pierre Desir had a very surprisingly good season last year. Another one I want to see more from. Most of his career's been below average, but we see what he's capable of in that Colts defense. Put him under average. Could play better. Dante Jackson. Man, some of these are tough right off the bat. Like his potential, obviously really good speed, quickness. Put him under good for now, but he's just he's really in the same boat as Adoree Jackson and Jair Alexander. They're kind of making a name for themselves. They're moving up the board. In a couple of years they should be up in the very good to maybe even borderline elite. It'd be tough, but if one of them would get there, fastest probably be Jair Alexander. Is that Kendall Fuller? Haven't really liked his game all that much. Below average to average. I'm going to put him under below average. Unfortunately, he may be the only one on this list. We'll see. Kind of skimming through these guys. Yeah, it's going to be close. Stephon Gilmore. When he was on the Bills, I thought he was a little overrated. Watching him a lot. I watch all football a lot, but I always just seem to really keep an eye on the corners and the safeties because of the positions I play, and I feel like I can really kind of break down how their game is. So I've always, really watched corners, and Stephon Gilmore has really, really grown on me over the years, not just last year. Early last year, though, I remember we did a live stream, and I was discussing who my favorite corners were during that year, and it was really early in the year, and Stephon Gilmore was my favorite corner, and then he ended up being, arguably, but probably most likely in most people's eyes, the best corner last year. So I like his game. It's tough, though, because that was, by far his best year. But I did like his game the year before that. I'm going to put him under borderline elite. I think he's in that groove where he's playing, and I think, he's not elite, but he probably played elite last year. So I think it's fair to put him there. I think there's no reason why he shouldn't decline or anything. So that's where I'm going to put him. And then we have, that is Greedy Williams, actually. I was about to say Denzel Ward. That is not Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is down here. Greedy, is this the only rookie in here? That's very interesting. He was my number one corner, but he wasn't the first off the board. We'll rank Greedy last, so I guess we got two Browns guys last. Joe Hayden, he's been declining it. It's no surprise. It's understandable. Honestly, last year I probably thought he would have played at a below average, the way he's been declining, but he actually played pretty solid, but another year, under average. Chris Harris. Chris Harris is, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Another one of those slot corners, but he can play outside too. I'm going to put, it's between borderline elite and very good. I think he's by far the best slot corner in football. I'm going to put him under borderline elite. And I'm going to put him there. Casey Hayward, I think one of the better corners in football. I think a little underrated. Not when people discuss top corners, people don't really discuss Casey Hayward. Why is his head cut off? That's driving me nuts. I'm going to put him under borderline elite. That's where I think he is. I can't quite put him under elite. It's just, that's just how I feel. Borderline elite. He's obviously a really good corner. Pretty consistent. I guess you don't hear his name every week, but that's really a good thing with the corners. If you don't really hear their name, that means they're not really, maybe they're not getting thrown at, which is a good thing. Xavier Howard, who was one of my draft hits. I like his game. Playmaker. There is times last year where he did get beat deep, and I'm kind of confused on what he was doing. But then he'll come up with a clutch play, big play that could win the game. I'm gonna put him under very good. He's definitely maybe another year or two can make his way into the borderline elite or elite section. But I'm gonna put him under very good. I think the other guys in the borderline elite are just a little more consistent. But he is a good playmaker. Marlon Humphrey. I love Marlon Humphrey's game last year, especially in that defense. He's growing rapidly, faster than I thought he would. More responsibilities going into really last year and this year. Jimmy Smith, another solid corner who's actually not on here. I like Jimmy Smith's game a lot, but they're kind of trying to go away from him. I think his contract's up after this year, so they're trying to get these young corners with more, responsibility. Marlon Humphrey's one of those guys, and he's played really good. I'm going to put him under very good. I think that's where he plays this year. William Jackson, another guy that I like. Seems to be getting better and better. I think he's right there with the talent of, I was going to say Jair Alexander, about the same, I think he's probably at the top. We'll rank these guys at the end. We'll sort these guys out in order. I think he's going to be at the top of that good section. Definitely could play in that very good section this year. Janoris Jenkins on the decline, used to be maybe an elite corner. I'm going to put him under average. Byron Jones played very well last year, switching back to corner. I'm not really ready to call him borderline elite. I think he's very good. Had a very good year last year. I see two Texans guys in a row: Jonathan Joseph, Kareem Jackson. People were pretty hyped about the Texans fans about to get mad at me, but people were kind of hyped up about their game last year. I wasn't. They're playmakers. As soon as the football in somebody's hands, whether it's a running back or it's after contact or after catch got through the linebackers, they're pretty much gone because the angles of the corners and the safeties were pretty poor to me. So I'm not just, I think that the mistake people make when looking at corners and just looking at interceptions, playmaking ability, it's a key part. But I'm more of a fan of a lockdown guy. If the quarterback refuses to throw to a guy's side because what he could do and what he's done, that's more impressive to me. I'm going to put both these guys under average. I wasn't super high on their game. They're probably at the top section of average. Yeah, they're close to good, but I wasn't in love with their game. Desmond King, another one of my draft hits, had him as a first-round grade. I don't know how the Chargers got him. I believe it was the 5th round. I have no idea. One of the better slot corners in the game. Could play outside, could play safety if you needed him to. And he's rapidly progressing. And I'm going to put him under very good because that's where he'll play this year. So we have Chargers corner at borderline elite, Chargers corner at very good. Kyle Fuller. Fuller's an interesting one. Labeled a bust after her first few years in the NFL and really starting to pick it up. Was a playmaking corner last year. Really impressive because I hated his game, honestly, early in his career. But you got to give the corners time to develop. Like I said, I think it's the second hardest position to play on the field after quarterback. Left and right tackle is getting up there too. But Kyle Fuller he's getting better, and it's by a good amount. I want to see more of that. I think the pressure, the pass rush of the Bears and the safeties maybe helped him look, I don't want to say better than he was because he wasn't. He was deserving of an all-pro corner, but they helped. I'm going to put him under very good, but I do want to see more. I do want to see more. Marshawn Latimer, he's a playmaking corner. He does get beat at times, though. I thought his best year was his rookie year for sure still, which is interesting. I want to put him under good because he is a little inconsistent. He can let guys behind him, but he's a playmaking corner. And that is Jason McCourty. That's a tough one. I'm going to put him under average. He's definitely on the decline, not really the same. Josh Norman, to me, on the decline, not really the same. I just view him as a good corner. He's probably towards the top of this section, but I don't think anybody overrates him really anymore. I think people agree with maybe here. Maybe some would say very good, but I guess he used to be a borderline elite, maybe elite corner. Yeah, he was an elite corner maybe for a year or two. But I think that's where he is now. Little inconsistent. Good leader with that secondary, though. So he's good. He's at the top section of good. Marcus Peters, another playmaking corner. Little inconsistent. Can't let guys behind him. But he's a big-time playmaker. Clutch playmaker. I'm gonna put him under very good. I think at one point there was definitely a year he was elite. No doubt. Probably borderline elite. Couple years. Put him under very good for this year. Patrick Peterson, maybe the best corner in football. Again, this is for this year. He's suspended, so I'm kind of taking that in the count there. But he's still a really good corner. You can't take that away. Kind of feared. He doesn't get a whole bunch of action because nobody really throws his way. I'm putting him under borderline elite. Will miss some games this year, so I can't really put him in elite. Jalen Ramsey. And you may have seen by the thumbnail, I have Jalen Ramsey under borderline elite, which is very good. It's borderline elite, but it's not elite. I just haven't seen enough to put him under elite. Like I said, I really focus on corners and the secondary. It's my favorite position, just secondary in general, corners and safeties. And he's very solid, more than very solid. He's right there. I want to. He's borderline elite. That's just the perfect word for it. That's my opinion. That's where I got him. Xavier Rhodes, another one that's pretty similar to Jalen Ramsey in terms of why. I'm putting under borderline elite. I think we'll kind of go over at the end here what I think on some of these borderline elite corners and why some of them may be considered elite to other people. Rhodes. I don't want to say inconsistent, but he was better 2 years ago. Physical corner, definitely feared, definitely a lockdown corner, and can run and tackle too. He gets a lot of pass interferences and seems to get hurt. I guess that's a better negative than getting beat, because he really doesn't get beat. So I still consider him borderline elite, but I guess those weaknesses are what was keeping him from elite, I suppose. Richard Sherman, another tough one, between very good and good. I think he's good. I don't think he's up here anymore. Was an elite cornerback at one point. And then we got Darius Slay. Darius Slay, love his game. I'm going to put him under borderline elite. So there's a lot of guys borderline elite here. I like Darius Slay there. Aqib Talib, right there at Marcus Peters. I think he's very good. Missed some games, pretty physical. Quick corner. I like him under very good. I would consider him elite at one point in his career too. Tre'Davious White. He's definitely on the rise pretty quickly. I'm going to put him under very good. Pretty solid. Last 2 seasons, very good. He's on his way up to possibly borderline elite, but he's not in the category of these guys right here. These guys are really, there's a difference. You can feel the difference between these guys and these guys. Desmond Trufant, inconsistent. 1 week he looks like a top corner. 1 week, not so good. I'm going to put him under good, probably at the top of this group. Tremaine Johnson, same thing. He needs to stay more consistent. Didn't play too well with the Jets last year, but I know he's capable. I'll put him under good. Denzel Ward, definitely a riser early on in his career. I think he plays at a very good level this year. And then Greedy Williams was my number 1 corner this year for the draft, and he was not the first one off the board, not even close. He'll be good with the Browns there with Denzel Ward. It's tough. The only rookie in here. I wish there was more rookies and maybe more fair. So I almost don't want to put him anywhere. I think he can play at a good level, but I guess to be fair, we're going to put him under average. So, as you can see, my interesting take was I don't think there's an elite corner. I'd say that's what borderline is, though. It's maybe. There's 2 guys, maybe 3 guys. If Patrick Peterson was not suspended for 6 or so games, there would be 3 guys that are very, very close. And I just don't see elite. I don't feel elite when I watch them because they're not really consistent enough. I can find weaknesses to their game. I think Jalen Ramsey is on his way. I think he was much better 2 years ago than he was last year. So we'll put Jalen Ramsey at the top because he very well can play there. Patrick Peterson maybe 1 or 2 if he wasn't suspended. I may have put him in the lead if he wasn't suspended. But I'm putting Rhodes at 2. Lockdown corner that's just completely feared. He's got to stay in the game. As soon as he comes out of it makes him look better, honestly, because if you ever watch the Vikings games, whether it was this past year, or the year before, and he came out of a game, the second he comes out of the game, the opposing team just throws a deep ball where he would be, and they have very good success on the backup corner that takes his spot. I'd say 90% or better for touchdown rate. So it shows how good he is. And people kind of knocking him a little bit last year because, 2 years ago we're like 5 games through and he's given up no catches, and then last year we're like 5 games through and he's gave up a few. I mean, he still played very solid. He just needs to stay in the game. I'll put Patrick Peterson at 3. I put Casey Hayward 4. We'll put Stephon Gilmore, Darius Slay, Chris Harris. Under the very good section, this is where things get tough here. I'm gonna put. I'll keep Bouye at the top. I'll go Byron Jones at number 2. This is where it's really tough. These guys are all pretty even. I'll put Howard. Then I'm gonna put Desmond King. I really like Desmond King. Then we'll go at Aqib Talib. We're gonna go Kyle Fuller. This is pretty much even. Kyle Fuller, Marcus Peters, Tre'Davious White, Marlon Humphrey, Denzel Ward. And then good section. This is a good one too. I think Norman probably. No, I like William Jackson at the top. I like Norman too. We're probably gonna go Jair Alexander 3. We're gonna go with Richard Sherman 4. Dante Jackson 5. Marshawn Lattimore 6. Now we're gonna put Desmond Trufant right ahead of Lattimore. I kind of like it like that. And then average, we'll put the Kareem Jackson at the top. I think the two Texan guys, Jonathan Joseph, well, Kareem Jackson with the Broncos now. And then we'll go, I think Garyon Conley really steps up this year. Probably Hayden, Desir, Jenkins, McCourty, and then we'll just leave the rookie Greedy Williams at the bottom. And then, unfortunately, Kendall Fuller is the only one below. I mean, he's borderline, he plays a tough position in the nickel corner. He's still young. He can get better. So, I mean, we can put him here. Better, I guess better supporting cast around him, so he can actually step it up a little bit this year. So no elite corners. I just don't see enough consistency. I'm not blown away by corner. 2 years ago, I was blown away by Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Rhodes. So they very well can play there. So two guys that I really almost want to put up there is Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Rhodes and Patrick Peterson if he wasn't suspended. So it depends on how you look at this. It depends on it depends on if you want to count Patrick Peterson's suspension, because he would be up there. But two guys that were easily elite 2 years ago, can they get back there? I think it's harder to play corner now, and that's why I'm really not putting them there. And Rhodes coming out with his injuries, and Ramsey, I don't know if he's 100% happy with the team, with the Jaguars. Maybe that's just me. It seemed like that at the end of last year. I think that it kind of affects the play. But he's young and getting better. So he very well could be elite. I just want to see more to say elite. It's a strong word. I've used it for other position groups. They've shown me enough, so it's tough. But the three guys that I would consider are the top three there. More consistent out of these two. Suspension from Patrick Peterson. And then these guys I would not consider. Stephon Gilmore does another season like that. I mean, Casey Hayward's pretty quietly a top corner, I guess. And I think these guys are just firmly, Darius Slay and Chris Harris are firmly borderline elites. That's my take. We'll do safeties next. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. If you want to rank your tiers there in the comments, let me know your guys' thoughts. Click that subscribe button right there. It'll be much appreciated. Daily sports videos, NFL, NBA. We're trying to get that 40K goal. Please help us out. It'll be much appreciated. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.